So further what happened is, a bustling girl went every day to a silent torrent. Silent, since in the workers' paradise, even a torrent wouldn't waste its energy singing to fill her pitchers. The girl's movement on the road was like the rapid movements of a skilled hand on the strings of a guitar. Her hair was carelessly done. Inquisitive wisps peeped often over her forehead to peer at the dark wonder of her eye. The idler was standing by the stream. As a princess sees a lonely beggar and is filled with pity, so the busy girl of the heavens saw this one and was filled with pity. So here he meets a bustling girl. So a bustling girl was there in the workers' paradise, who is another important character of this lesson, a bustling girl. So what do you mean by bustling? One who is moving in a hurried way, bustling, bustling about in the sense moving in a hurried way in lot of enthusiasm. So this girl, she used to go to a silent torrent. So here the author takes a mock at the people by referring the silent torrent. So what does he say? Silent torrent, he is saying that the torrent was silent because even being in workers' paradise, the torrent also didn't want to waste its energy by singing. Even it was also hardworking, it was also calculative not to waste its energy in unnecessary things. So what did the girl do there? She used to go to the torrent in order to fill water in her pitchers. So this word pitchers, P-I-T-C-H-E-R-S, pitchers. Okay, so there is another word which is referred here. This is a picture. You need to understand the difference here. Pitcher, P-I-T-C-H-E-R, pitcher, it's a vessel which is used to usually fill water, which is roughly like your shape of like this, okay, artistically, which can be done. And this is your picture, okay. So this is the art drawn, and this is a vessel which is usually used for filling water or any other liquids for that purpose. Usually it is used for filling water. So here the girl's movement on the road, it is compared to the rapid movement of a skilled hand. So if a person is very skilled, he can move his hand in a vibrating manner on the strings of a guitar. So like this, the girl's movement on the road also was very fast. In a very skillful way, she used to rapidly move, or very fastly she used to move on the road, and her hair was also carelessly done. So this line, the hair was carelessly done, shows that she was not interested in dressing up herself or towards spending time towards her beauty. She was not beauty conscious. She was not wasting her time on dressing up herself. It is shown. So there were also inquisitive wisps. Usually wisps are nothing but the hair. They peeped over her forehead to peer. Peer means have a sharp look at the dark wonder of her eye. So the hair was covered on her face, and the eyes of that girl, naturally being a girl, she was very innocent. So further, the girl sees that idler who was standing. He was standing nearby to the stream. Stream, it's a small river flowing water. So he was standing over there, and it is comparison. The author, he compares the view of the girl towards that idler by saying, as a princess sees a lonely beggar and is filled with pity. So here the princess is compared to that girl, inquisitive girl, or the bustling girl is compared to a princess, and the idle man is compared to a beggar here. She was filled with pity because she feels that the person is not having any work to do. So she's filled with pity because everybody were busy and he was idle over there. So the busy girl of the heaven will see this one, and she was filled with pity, and she says, what does she say? Let us see now. Aha, she says, she cried with concern. You have no work in hand? And have you? She asked. The man sighed. Work? I have not a moment to spare for work. The girl did not understand his words and said, I shall spare some work for you to do if you like. The man replied, Girl of the silent torrent, all this time I have been waiting to take some work from your hands. So here she cried with concern when she sees that man without any work. She just exclaimed and she said, Aha, oh, you don't have any work here and do you have any work? There's a question tag used here in order to confirm. Do you have any work? So man will sigh, take a deep breath and he says, Work. I haven't a moment to spare for work. Again, this sentence is very important. For annotation, they can ask you who said this to whom and when, what was the meaning of that sentence. So work, I have not a moment to spare for work is a line said by this wrong man to the bustling girl when she asked him, do you have any work? So he says that I don't have any work, I don't have a moment to spare for work. I don't have any time to spare for doing work, he says. The girl could not understand his words at all because he was free. She could see clearly that he was free, but again he is replying that he doesn't have a moment also to spare for work. Means short time also he doesn't have to spare for work, he is saying. So she could not understand anything what he meant. So she naturally says, I shall spare some work for you. So if you want to do work, I would like to give some work for you, she says. The man will say, all the time, girl of the silent talent, from all this time or all the time I have been waiting to take some work from you and I want to do some work from you. I want to take it from you, he says. The girl naturally asked him, what kind of work you want to do? What is the type of work you want to do and what are you expecting from me? So that man will tell further. He tells, will you give me one of your pictures? One that you can spare? She asked. A picture? You want to draw water from the torrent? No, I shall draw pictures on your picture. The girl was annoyed. Pictures indeed? I have no time to waste on such as you. I am going, and she walked away. So what did the man ask from the girl? The man replied, Girl of the silent torrent, he says, all this time I have been waiting to get some work. So girl naturally asked, what kind of work do you want? So he asked her to give one of her pictures. Pictures is nothing but the vessel like this. He asked, can you spare one picture to me? Can you give one of your pictures to me? Then a girl naturally will ask the wrong man. She will ask him whether he wanted to take that picture and draw some water. Draw some water in the sense, fill some water from the torrent. But the wrong man said no. He said that he wanted to draw some pictures on the picture. So he wanted to do some art and painting on the picture. So when this girl heard this one, she was annoyed. Annoyed in the sense she was frustrated and she was terribly angry. Okay, so she says, he just repeats, pictures indeed. I have no time to waste on such as you. I'm going. So she was not happy with what the man asked from her. And she said, you want to do pictures on my picture? I don't have any time to waste on such things. I'm just going away, she said, and she walked away. But how could a busy person get the better of one who had nothing to do? Every day they met and every day he said to her, Girl of the silent torrent, give me one of your clay pictures. I shall draw pictures on it. She yielded at last. She gave him one of her pictures. The man started painting. He drew line after line. He put color after color. So here, when she refused, he did not give up. That man, busy man, he wanted to get the better of one who had, she could not do anything over there. So she kept on refusing for so many days. But every day the man met that girl, and every day he used to tell her, Girl of the silent torrent, please give me one of your clay pictures. He said, I shall do some pictures on it. So finally she could not resist his request, and one fine day she just handed over one of her picture to that man. So what did the man do? The man started doing pictures, painting on it. He started doing line after line, and he started adding color after color on the picture. When he had completed his work further, the girl held up the picture and stared at its sides, her eyes puzzled. Brows drawn, she asked, "What do they mean? All those lines and colors, what is their purpose?" The man laughed. "Nothing. A picture may have no meaning and serve no purpose." So he says, when he had completed his work, what actually happened? He will hand over the picture to the girl. So the girl will hold up the picture right in front of her. She started staring in the sense looking at it fixedly, because she could not understand what it was, and her eyes were puzzled in the sense a confusing look was there in the eyes of that girl, because she could just see the lines and some colors which she had never seen before. So he had brows in the sense an arch like line, it was drawn on that, and she will ask, naturally she will ask, what do they mean? What is the meaning of all these lines and colors, and what is the purpose? Purpose is, what is the use of this work? What for you have done this work, or why have you done this work? What's the use of doing this? The man will naturally laugh and he says, "Nothing. A picture may not have meaning and serve no purpose." Again, this line is very important for your annotations. So he says that a picture need not have any meaning and need not have any use. It can be done like that for pleasure, he says. The girl went away with her picture. At home, away from prying eyes, she held it in the light, turned it round and scanned the painting from all angles. At night, she moved out of bed, lighted a lamp and scanned it again in silence. For the first time in her life, she had seen something that had no meaning and no purpose at all. So what did the girl do with the picture? She carried it home. So after carrying it home, she kept it away from prying eyes. Prying in the sense searching eyes. So she was worried about the elders in her house. Definitely, if the elders would notice that this girl had collected such a thing from a man or an idle man or anything, definitely they would question her. So here she didn't want them to notice that, so she just kept it away from prying eyes, searching eyes, and when it was night, she just turned it round and round. She turned the picture round and round. She scanned in the sense, took a deeper look at the painting from all the angles, trying to understand it. So even at night, she used to move out of her bed, come out of her bed. She used to even light a candle, and in the candlelight, she used to scan it again and again, trying to understand the meaning of that work. So for the first time in her life, she had seen something which did not have any meaning, which she could not understand, and she could not even understand what was the purpose of that, what was the meaning or what was the utility of that work, what he had done on the picture. Next day, when she set out for the torrent the next day, her hurrying feet were a little less hurried than before, for a new sense seemed to have awakened in her, a sense that seemed to have no meaning and no purpose at all. So what happened next day when she went out for the torrent? There was a change in her attitude. So first earlier, before she could see the work done by the idler, she was a very quick girl. She used to move in a hurried manner, but now the next day her feet were less hurried. So what was the change there? For her, even the meaningless, she started getting the meaning of them. So a new sense, new idea had arisen in her or awakened in her. That was the sense that seemed to have no meaning and no purpose at all. So what did she do? She saw the painter next day. She sees that. She saw the painter standing by the torrent and asked him in confusion, "What do you want of me?" "Only some more work from your hands." "What kind of work would you like?" "Let me make colored ribbon for your hair," he answered. "And what for?" "Nothing," he replied. So ribbons were made with bright colors. The busy girl of workers' paradise had now spent a lot of time every day tying the colored ribbons round her hair. The minutes slipped by unutilized. Much of the work was left unfinished. So next day she goes to the torrent over there, and again she meets the painter there. He was standing by the torrent, and again this girl in confusion, she asked, "What do you want of me? What do you want again from me?" Idle man, he said, only some more work from your hands, he said. So she just naturally asked him, "What kind of work do you like, or would you like to do for me?" So he just said, "Let me make some colored ribbons for your hair." He will tell, "What for?" Naturally the girl asked, "What for you want to make colored ribbons?" "Nothing, just like that. I want to make some colored ribbons for your hair," he said. And the ribbons were made. So he made many ribbons with bright colors which were colorful, and this girl of the workers paradise, the busy girl of the workers paradise, she had now started spending a lot of time every day tying these colored ribbons over her hair. So as a result of this, many minutes slipped by unutilized, so much time was wasted, and as a result of this, much left also was left unfinished in the workers paradise, because she was wasting or spending a lot of time on trying these ribbons on her hair. Now further, what happened, let us see. In workers paradise, work had of late began to suffer. Many persons who had been active before were now idle, wasting their time, precious time, on useless things such as painting and sculpture. The elders became anxious. A meeting was called. All agreed that such a state of affairs had so far been unknown in the history of workers' paradise. The aerial messenger hurried in, bowed before the elders, and made a confession. "I brought a wrong man into this paradise," he said. "It's all due to him." So what happened in the workers paradise? So people started getting infected by this person or influenced by him, and work had begun to suffer. So a lot of work was pending, and many persons who were actually active, very active before, they were becoming idle. They were turning idle, and they were wasting their precious time on useless things. So they had also started doing some painting, sculpture and other things, and this made the elders of the workers paradise become anxious in the sense they were worried. So what did they do? They called a meeting. So they announced for a meeting was called, and all the people, when there was a discussion about the state of that workers paradise, the situation of that workers paradise, everybody in the workers paradise agreed that such a thing was not known at all for them in the history of a workers paradise. So the aerial messenger, he hurried in and he bowed before the elders and he made a confession. So who was this aerial messenger? He was the person who had actually made a mistake by getting this man into the workers paradise. So he will hurry in in the sense, rushed in, ran inside, scaring for the elders over there, and he bowed before the elders and he made a confession. Confession in the sense he gave his repenting word. He just said that this line is very important again for annotation. He says, "I brought a wrong man into this paradise. It's all due to him." So he will confess. He will make a confession. He says that I only brought this wrong man into this paradise, and because of him only all these conditions have resulted, he says. So further, what was done? The man was summoned. As he came, the elders saw his fantastic dress, his quaint brushes, his paints, and they knew at once that he was not the right sort for workers' paradise. Stiffly, the president said, "This is no place for the like of you. You must leave." The man sighed in relief and gathered up his brushes and paints. But as he was about to go, the girl of silent torrent came up tripping and cried, "Wait a moment, I shall come with you." The elders gasped in surprise. Never before had a thing like this happened in workers' paradise, a thing that had no meaning and no purpose at all. So here he says that the man, when he was summoned in the sense he was brought and made to stand in front of the elders. So as he came, the elders saw everybody in the workers' paradise. They started observing him. So he was wearing a fantastic dress, which was not a dress which was not the dress code of the workers' paradise. And he had quaint brushes, means attractive brushes were there with him. A lot of paints he had, and at once when they saw that man, they understood that he was not the right sort of man to fit into workers' paradise over there. So stiffly means very strictly, the president of that workers' paradise, he said, this is no place for the like of you. Again, this can be important for your annotation. So it was told by the president of workers' paradise to the wrong man. What does he say? He says that this place is not for you. It doesn't fit for you. You have to leave right now, he says. So the man could not oppose that. He just sighed in relief, and because he was also happy that he was allowed to move from there. He just gathered up his brushes and paints, and when he was about to go from there, the girl of the silent torrent, she came up tripping in the sense, just she walked further and she came and she just said, wait a moment, I shall come with you. So again, this sentence is important for your annotation. She just says that she just asked the man to wait for a while, and she had a wish, or she was willing to accompany that man out of the workers' paradise. So by seeing this, the elders, they were gasped in surprise. They could not believe such things could ever happen in workers' paradise, because never such a thing had happened in workers' paradise. A thing that had no meaning and no purpose at all. The girl was ready to follow that idler man or the painter, and this had no meaning in the view of the elders. So that was surprising for them. So what does the author try to tell us, or what does that author try to tell us? We have told earlier itself. Once again, if you want to come to what is the message given by this lesson, it is said that, again, as we told, as other important works are there in the society which are so called productive work, only is given more importance than that. Life should be made beautiful by adding all these work which give us pleasure also. So certain things should be done not only for productive purpose, but for the sake of pleasure also, because finally we are all human beings, not machines. So in future there may be a world wherein all these mechanical work can be done by robots for us, but definitely human skills, artistic things, whether painting it can be, or anything like music and other things, those are all the skills which are God's gift for humans. So we need to give importance for them also in our life, and we should not become workaholic. Instead, we should have our life in a very beautiful way. We have to spend our time on this earth by cleverly or managing our work in both productive purpose as well as something should be involved in our life, so that we should be able to enjoy the beauty of our life by involving certain literary skills as well as the co-curricular capacities or talents also should be built in a person. So that is what the writer tries to tell us. Hope you have understood, children. Thank you for listening.
ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋ ವಿಡಿಯೋಗಳು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಗಿದ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಲೈಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಸಬ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಬೆಲ್ ಐಕನನ್ನು ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಮಾಡೋ ವಿಡಿಯೋಗಳ ನೋಟಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಮೊದಲು ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿ ಸಂದೇಹಗಳಿದ್ರೆ ಕಮೆಂಟ್ ಸೆಕ್ಷನಲ್ಲಿ ತಿಳಿಸಿ. ಹಾಗೆ ಈ ತರಗತಿಗಳು ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗೆ ತಲುಪುವಂತೆ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿ.